Hi everyone. So I know we've all been busy preparing for our presentations today. So you might have missed something important in the news this morning. So let me start our pitch by sharing this breaking headline with you.
A data analyst was fired after a terrible revenue report. The report shows zero revenue, sending the CEO into panic mode. He nearly shut it down. Luckily, the CEO realized that was just a data mistake. Now, let's dive deeper into an interview with the finance analyst to uncover what was happening.
Working in BI really serious, just a tiny change and someone almost shutting down their business.
Did you test your change before publishing?
Yeah, of course I did. I checked the syntax, run reporting validation. I also checked all the metrics. I double check, triple check, quadra, penta check. But I still miss that one revenue metric. Even the best BI tool doesn't have at all.
Oh, what it is BI tool?
It's holistic.
Well, that was a rough day at the office. This might be an unlucky day for that data analyst, but we believe that data quality issue is very common in every company. For example, this broken embedded report or this broken dashboard and even Vincent's broken MR number. They all happened because something was updated incorrectly in the metric layer. So let's imagine your metrics are like dominoes. They are a complex chain of calculations and logic. So updating even one metric without proper testing can affect other downstream items negatively. So whenever you update the metric, the result isn't always correct, or it can even break the downstream dashboards that the business users are viewing. So why did this happen in holistics? Well, all our tests and current validation mechanism only ensure that your code can run, but it do not ensure that your data is correct. So whenever you work with the metric layer to know if it works correctly, first you have to check if the metric result is correct. Then you have to navigate and manually find and check all the downstream items. And then you have to repeat again and again with any new updates. So all this relies solely on manual testing currently, which is very time consuming and prone to human error. So how did we tackle this problem? We took inspiration from software engineering best practice and bring it into holistic analytics development workflow. Introducing Metric Card, an automated data testing feature natively inside Holistic. So how does it work? It's very simple. First, you create a test, then you run the test, and then you review the test coverage and enhance it. So now let's see metric cards in action. First, creating a test is very simple. You just need to visualize your metric and save the result as a test case. As you can see, the result here is saved inside the code as the expected result of the test. Over here, yes. So one common question is, what if my production data changes very frequently? Well, in this case, you can use an isolated testing data source, or you can even define your own mock data as fixtures. Okay, so whenever a metric is updated, you can run the test to compare the actual result with the defined expected result. So if it returns a green column, it means that your metric works fine and the test has passed. But if the result returns a red column, that means that the test has failed, something doesn't match or quite wrong, and maybe it's time to check your logic again. Okay, so you might have wondered, what about the downstream and relevant metrics that are referencing to this one? So we have visualized them all into one single diagram here, which is a highly requested feature for years in holistics. And we even take it one step further. With just one click, you can run all the lineage tests for all the downstream items here. So No more manually finding and searching and navigating all the files. So data testing can now also be run automatically in the development workflow. When publishing a project, the test will run all in your project, and if any test fails, the publishing process would stop, and then you can pinpoint easily any issue from here. So one last important part of metric quality is enhancing the test coverage and ensure that your metric is covered with tests. With this one single view, you can view any test has failed, passed, or if the metric, or if all your data set and models are covered. Okay, so back out to our original problems with manual testing. They were very time consuming and prone to human error. With holistic now includes automated static testing. It is now more efficient and reliable, and so maybe no one will get fired anymore. So our vision doesn't stop here. We may develop more from this with having more convenient ways to set up from CSV or JSON files, utilizing AI to generate and improve the logic, and with API and GitHub Actions. So Metric Corp is production ready, which means we can bring it to development anytime soon.
So, this is Magic Corp. We catch around before they catch you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Metric Corp, for your presentation. Now we move to the Q&A section.
Okay, very interesting. I think it's very useful and you apply common practice in engineering to be to control the metrics. But I wonder, actually, you know, that's a data very, very complex. And I am working on econ. We have 1,000 report and business team. They say that this number may not be correct. Is there a gap between read and just? So how to define that to run the test? Because we know that it's very, very hard. It's not like that we go to the zero, but maybe slightly higher, maybe slightly lower. So how to define that?
Oh, okay. You mean, do you mean you want to define a test like you test not an exact result, but you test like a range? Yeah.
You know that the number is fluctuated, right? So it's not a fixed number, it's not static number. So how we define that?
Okay. So we assume that if your data have no side effect, like so your metric will like always give a certain result. It's a calculation. So if you if you connect it to a testing environment like a testing data source or define mock data, we assume that your output with the correct calculation like won't change frequently. It will be a fixed value. So this will fixed.
How do we manage mock data? Because most metrics run on the production, right?
Yes.
And we only can tell the production.
Okay. So okay, we will go back to the frequent asked question, like what if my data change frequently? Okay. So if you can connect your test directly to the production data source, yes, of course, it's change frequently, but we recommend you to still separate to isolate testing environment, and we assume that if your test run correctly, your test pass, which means your logic is correct, so the logic in the production is still correct. Okay. So if your business requirement change, like you add new features and new data, we should have a process to update the production state to the testing state. Like if you have a new column on production, you should sync it to the test database.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just building on to the questions that he asked earlier, which is, I think the core question is, how do you set the criteria to test whether the data is correct or not? I think the problem is not that the data changes frequently, but it's more like if I just want to test it in production, and maybe I just want to test it against some criteria. So how much flexibility do we have to test those criteria? So to give an example, jumping into the solution space, which is maybe you can say that this data should not exceed a certain percentage threshold of a certain range from this expected number. So I think what I couldn't see, I think was a bit fast, was like how do you actually define that? What kind of flexibility do you have to define those conditions, whether it affects on an error?
Okay, give me a few seconds. Give me a few seconds. Okay. So just keep this slide. That's okay. Okay. For next question, currently we only allow you to assert the equal value. It requires to be an equal value, and currently we assume that like if you test a range of data, your margin of error is very big. Like if you just assess your revenue like bigger than 0, it can be 100, it can be million, or it can be just 1, and the margin of error is still big. But yeah, this is like another frequent asked question. So we will put this to backlog, and we will develop this assess function in the future. Yeah, but we still need to verify that this can. Thank you.
Yeah, love the pitch. Back to the problem of maybe the CEO not being able to see the metric revenue, or just in general. I think what you're kind of playing to is a trust issue, right? Of the end user, that they're not sure what they're looking at is correct. How? Because you're helping the analyst or the developer, the analyst, developer, whatever this would be for analytics engineer, I guess. But how do you help that trust at the end user stage?
Just okay. It's you stated how to gain the trust to the end user. Yeah, we understand that sometimes if you break your embedded dashboard and your user will see like crazy value. So with this testing, we you can see that we have like a report of the coverage and the testing status. So we can like publish this to user, or have another data catalog to show features, to show that the user that we already test this logic, and your what you see is really correct.
I think that's a clever idea for future upgrades as well. You could even embed this in a report, right? So if you show this is how many tests ran, right, then the end user knows what they're looking at. So you're helping the analyst not get fired.
Yeah, it's something like a certification for a deploy version, like stamp, and everyone see it's approved.
Exactly. Great. Good stuff.
Okay, thank you. Any other question?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you everyone. This is Magic Cup.